Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the electric guitar tutorial for Another Hallelujah by Lincoln Brewster, the live version. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so this song is in the key of C, and the time signature is 6/8. That basically just means that there's 6 eighth notes per measure. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that first chord is going to be your C chord, and it's just pretty much a C major standard chord. And if you don't know how to play a C chord, it's your ring finger on the 3rd fret A string, middle finger 2nd fret D string, and first finger on the 1st fret B string. And so it's a pretty linear picking approach. So it's just all downstrokes until you get to that top note. And then those two strings, the B string and the G string, are both upstrokes. But then there's a catch. There's a in-between walk-down note, a passing note, that sounds like this. So you're going to want to keep your first finger on that B string, because you want to blend those two chords together. So in this video, I'm going to be using the patch that I created for the Line 6 Helix, HX Stomp, HX Effects, and Pod Go. And this is just an inspired Lincoln Brewster patch. So if you're going to be playing through this patch for this song, go ahead and take off the distortion for this first part. So that picking pattern is pretty much the same throughout the entire verse and the down choruses of the song. So it's going to be that C chord. That second chord is just a standard A minor chord, and it's going to be middle finger on the D string, 2nd fret, ring finger on the 2nd fret G string, and first finger on the 1st fret B string, and you're going to play your A string open. So what you're going to do is you're going to actually anchor your first finger down to that 1st fret, and that's going to really help you with those two chord changes to make them nice and clean. So that was the intro, and that idea pretty much translates throughout the rest of the song that comes in later. So the first verse goes like this. So that chord right there is an F major 7 add 9 chord, and it's a really pretty chord when you're playing clean stuff. So that's going to be your ring finger on the 3rd fret D string, and your first finger did not move. It's on the 1st fret B string, and it's going to be your open E string and open G string. So that first verse sounds like this up to that point. So then we're to our G sus chord. So you're going to be playing these chords a few different ways depending on where we're at in the song and what the dynamics are. So that chord right there is a G sus. And you're going to keep your first finger on that 1st fret. And you're going to put your ring finger on the 3rd fret low E string. So that's a quick change right there. Drop down to the A minor, C to your A minor. So then after that part, it goes. Do that F to G chord. To your A minor chord, to your F chord. So it goes. So you can hammer on there to your F chord from your A minor on your D string. you can add some lift on your F chord. Instead of an open E string, you add your pinky to the 3rd fret high E string. So up to that point. To your G chord. And so the way I'm playing this G chord is I'm adding my pinky to that top fret on the 3rd fret E string. And then here's where you get that weird chord. Okay, so that weird chord is called the secondary dominance, and what that is, if we're speaking in Nashville number system, it is a 5 of 6. So it's basically just a chord that pulls you into your A minor chord. So what that chord is, it's an E5 with a G sharp in the bass. So it's actually an inversion in music terms. Traditionally, you'd play your E chord, your E5 chord like this, with your low E in the bass. But in this case, you're adding your G sharp note in the low E string on your 4th fret with your ring finger. Because you want that pull to go to your A minor chord. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to play the traditional E5 chord, and then we're going to add that note at the bottom. So it's going to be a bar on your 1st finger on the 2nd fret, A string and D string. And then you're going to add your pinky to the G string 4th fret. And then you're going to add your ring finger to the 4th fret G sharp note on that low E string. And then you're going to kind of lift up your hand. Because you want to get those top 2 strings in there as well. So up to that point. And then from that point, you're into the chorus. So now we're into the chorus, and that's the easier part. So your first chord is your F chord, your F major 7, add 9. To your A minor chord. To your F. To your C. To your G. Back to your intro. Then you're into verse 2. Back into the chorus. So your A minor, F, C, G, okay, so the chorus is pretty much the same. So now I'm going to teach you how to play it with dynamics, because eventually later in the song it starts building and some of your chord shapes start changing. The drums start building. Now you start digging into your chords a little bit. So I switched over from my neck pickup to my bridge, and he starts kind of palm muting. So it goes. So palm muting, if you don't know what that is, you're literally just putting the side of your hand onto the strings and you're tightening everything up. So you're building and building and building, and then you finally open up to the chorus where everything is really big, and this is where you change your chord shapes. So the two chords that really change is your F chord, and that is just like an F bar chord. And if you don't know what bar chords are, you're basically taking your first finger, barring the entire first fret, and then you're essentially adding an E major chord over top of that with your other fingers. So your middle finger is going to be on the 2nd fret G string, and then your ring finger and pinky are going to be on the 3rd fret A and D string. But you're going to focus your picking on the lower notes, because you don't want it to be super bright. And then your A minor is traditional. Then you go to your C, which is normal. And then your G, instead of going from, you could play it two ways, but Lincoln kind of switches back and forth. Your G chord, you could play it like how you played it before, your G sus, or you can make it a G5. So it's going to be, your middle finger is replacing your ring finger on the low E string, and then your ring finger is going to go to the 3rd fret B string, and your pinky stays on the high E string. And then use your middle finger to mute that A string. The second time you do the big chorus before the solo, there's a cool like octave thing that sounds like this. So it's going to be your F chord, and then you're going to go octaves. So your octaves are going to be on the 3rd fret low E string, and then your pinky is going to be on the D string 5th fret. You're only going to be playing those notes. So the rest of your fingers are just there to mute the other string so you can really dig into it. Because like I'm hitting pretty much all the strings, but only those two notes you want to ring out. So you're going to move that exact same shape up to your 5th fret, and then up to your 8th fret. All in the same strings. So it goes. So now we're into the guitar solo, and turn on your distortion, your drive, your amp drive, and your clean boost and your delay, and that sounds like this. Okay, so that's going to be a bend on your B string on the 20th fret. And feel free to use your other fingers behind it to give some support. I'm using my middle finger on the fret below to bend up that string to give it support, and I'm using my first finger to mute the other string so I can dig into it. And don't be afraid to, once you're bending up, you're getting that G string. Feel free to like kind of grab it as well with your fretting hand. Creates a cool sound. And it's going to be a hammer on your high E string from the 17th to the 19th. So that's going to be a quick flutter there. So it's going to be all picked, except for that first hammer on, down to the 17th fret, to the 20th fret, back to the 17th, back to the 19th. And then you have this deal going on. Okay. To make it simple without the picking part, so you're going to hang out. It's just going from the 17th, 19th to 20th and back down, and then finishing on the 20th B string. So your descending part is actually going to be pull-offs. So what you're going to do is you're going to stay on your 20th fret for an extra beat, for lack of a better term. And then you're going to flutter that with up and down strokes. So one of the ways that I pick, I don't even know if it's like a correct way of picking, but in some situations, I like to pick things where I'm using I'm almost pinching my fingers. So there's a couple different ways. You can use your wrist. Using your wrist is really great when you're doing like prolonged alternate picking for long periods of time, because you don't get as tired when you do this. But for some situations when it's like really little and it's like a really tight, compact lick, I like to use the pinch method, and I can really get pretty fast if I just use my thumb and my index finger. So then when I start doing that descending line, I'm using my wrist a little bit more. On that descending line, you're going to start on the same note that you're starting that really fast lick. You're starting on the 19th fret, high E string, descending to the 17th fret, so it's 19, 17, to the 20th B string, and then you're going to come back to the high E string, 19th fret. That's when you start descending. Back to your 20th B string, to the 17th B string, to your G string now, 19th fret, back to your 20th fret, B string, to the 17th fret, B string. So then the second time you come back to that G string, you're going to do a bend. So you can either do a full bend, or you can do a half bend to make it more bluesy. To your 17th fret. So it's a bend up on your 19th fret, G string, down, back to the 17th fret. So you're almost done. So it's a bend, hammer on, pull off on your D string, 19th to 17th. Then it's going to be a slide from your 19th to your 17th A string, down to your 15th fret A string. It's going to be a pull off. Then it's going to be the 17th fret low E string. And then you're going to hammer on the A string from the 15th fret to the 17th fret. So I'm going to play it slowly. Do that twice. So then the next part, moving on. So now you're kind of in your secondary position. Here we were kind of resting in the octave of the pentatonic scale. Now you're kind of in your secondary position. So this is your C note here, your root note on the B string, 13th fret. So you're going to start there, and then you're going to bend your 15th fret B string up a full bend twice. You can hammer onto that note as well to your 15th fret. So that's going to be a bend. It's going to be a bend up, and then you're going to bend down, and then pull off to your original note, 13th fret, and then hammer on. Then you're going to do that again. So I'm going to play that again. So I'm going to play that again. Then you're back up to your pentatonic position. So that part is going to be octaves. So that part's going to come back later in the solo. So it's going to be your pinky on the 20th fret high E string. And then your octave below is going to be your G string on the 17th fret. So it's the timing is going to be so it's so it's down up down up. So it goes. So then you incorporate a bend in between there. So that's just going to be a bend from the 19th fret up to the 20th fret on the high E string. So I recommend using your middle finger for this bend because it's going to come back in the next lick. It's going to help out. So, and then your ring finger on the 20th fret B string. Back to your first finger on the G string, 17th fret. Then you go back to that bend again. So you do that 3 times. So I'm going to teach you that part. So Lincoln Brewster, I don't know if he created this lick or not, but basically he plays that lick in a lot of different songs. So the idea is that's like the full version of the lick, but in this song specifically, it's just the top version. So it's going to be a bend, like you're used to on the 19th fret, to the 20th fret B string, to the 19th fret G string, to the 17th fret B string, back to the 20th B string, to the 19th fret G string, to the 19th fret G string to the 17th fret G string, and then you're back to your 16th fret G string. And those are all alternate picking. Then now you're to your secondary position again. And feel free to get that G string involved again. So that's going to be a bend on the B string, 15th fret. And sometimes if he's feeling it live, he'll sometimes do like really fast picking as well. So you can either do it this way, like you do in the like he does in the live version, or if you want to play it fast, you can do alternate picking as well. So it's going to be a bend to the 13th fret B string, to the 14th fret G string, so then after your bends, there's going to be a descending line. It sounds like this. So it's going to be your 14th fret to the 12th fret G string, to the 13th fret B string. Feel free to bend it up. So you can either use your fingers to like pluck, like I'm using my ring finger. Or you can use your pick. Either way is fine. So you can go, it's a pull off, upstroke on your B string, back to your G string, 14 to 12. Then you're going to do a slide from the 14th to the 12th D string. Then a pull off to the 10th fret D string. Then you're going to bar your 12th fret, A string and D string. So it's going to be that bar from your A to your D string to your 10th fret D string, then a hammer onto the 12th fret. So then you go, from that point you go to, now you're on your A string, 12th to 10th fret. So it's going to be a pull off. So then you're to your D string, 10th to 12th fret. So then that's going to be a slide on the D string to your 13th fret. So it's going to be, so it's going to be a slide, 13, 12 to 10 D string to the 12th A string to bar your 12th fret to your 12th fret D string, back to your A string, and then 10th fret D string. So it goes. Slide up to the 14th fret D string, bar your 12th fret, G string and B string. So then you're going to do alternating strings here. Keep your finger barred on the 12th fret. So now you're going to add your middle finger to the 13th fret B string to 15 with your ring finger. So you're alternating your B string and G string. You're back to that original bend. So it goes. Then you're going to finish it off on the 12th fret G string. Then you're back to those octaves. Except you're not doing the bends. You're just doing. And then here's where you start incorporating your wrist, because you need to do that for this motion to keep everything nice and even. And that part sounds like this. So you're just literally going down the scale with those octaves. So it's the same fingers on the same strings. So you're going to start, and I'm going to reference the first finger. So what you're going to do is you're just going to shift that entire shape down. But make sure you're always leaving 2 frets in between. Your first finger is going to start on the 17th fret to the 16th fret to the 14th fret to the 12th to the 10th to the 9th to the 7th to the 5th. And now you can use your other fingers to rest on the other strings, because you don't want them ringing out, because it's a little bit harder to control your wrist motion. So you really want your hand to be able to mute those strings. So what I'm doing is I'm literally just letting my hand go loose. So that helps you to get a nice even motion, and you're not tensing up your arm very much. So then after you get to your 5th fret, you slide way back up to your original starting position, which is an octave up. So I'm going to play the entire solo in context. So then after the solo, you're back into that intro, but it's like nice and big power chords. So I switched back to my bridge. In the guitar solo, I was in my neck pickup. Now I'm using my bridge. The band starts going crazy. So then there's a cool part that Lincoln does during the midst of that trash can ending that I'm going to go over now. So it's like almost another guitar solo at that point. So the first note is going to be on your C note, which is your 3rd fret A string. It's going to be with your bridge pickup to the 5th fret A string to the 7th. And then you're going to go. So it's going to be middle finger on your 8th fret A string, 7th fret 1st finger A string, to the 10th fret A string, to the 8th fret, to the 7th fret, to the 5th fret. So it goes. You could do a hammer-on with a slide if you want to. So it's going to be a hammer-on to the 8th fret, to the 7th fret. And then that lick, that sounds like this. So it's just going to be on the D string, 5th fret to the 7th fret. Hammer-on to the 7th fret, to the 5th fret G string. To the G string, 5th to 7th fret. It's going to be a half-step bend. It's going to be very similar to what you played up here, but it's just an octave down. So it's going to be pull up, bend down to the 7th fret, to the 5th fret, to the 7th fret D string, and then back to your 5th fret. So it's going to be just a pull-offs all the way down. So D string 7 to 5th, and then A string 7 to 5th slide. last lick. So you're going to start on your 3rd fret, A string. So it's going to be a hammer-on to the 5th fret, slide up to the 7th fret, A string. Then you're going to bar your D string and G string on the 5th fret. And then you're going to start that pattern over again. That happens on your G string, hammer on to the 7th fret, slide up to the 9th fret. You're going to start that pattern over again, bar your B string and E string on the 8th fret. So you can slide up, hammer on to the 10th fret, E string, slide up to the 12th fret, and then you do a little hiccup there. Then you slide way up to your 17th fret, high E string, and then you slide to the 15th fret, high E string. And then the song is over. So I'm going to play that slowly. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below. And if you want to go deeper into learning the electric guitar, maybe you want to learn more about music theory or technique, feel free to sign up for my one-on-one online Zoom lessons, link down below, and we'll see you in the next video.